Mike McCluskey is set to undergo his biggest transformation to date in Mayor of Kingstown Season 4. Kingstown is a prison town where crime and corruption runs rampant. However, there is one man who keeps the balance in an effort to avoid casualties and loss of innocent lives. Mike McCluskey is the unelected mayor in Kingstown, and generally, that affords him a lot of respect and authority. He is able to effectively ensure that gangs avoid crossing each other's territories, and that the police only interfere when things get out of hand or present a greater risk to lives and the community. However, Mayor of Kingstown Season 4 will see Mike deal with more trouble than ever before. The issue is, Mike is going down a road that could see him transformed forever. Meanwhile, things have never been more dangerous and unstable in Kingstown. Mike McCluskey has had a loose grip on Kingstown since the start of the show Image via Paramount+. When Mayor of Kingstown began back in 2021, Mike was thrust into becoming the new mayor after his brother Mitch was shot and killed by a gangster. Where Mitch had built steady relationships with the criminals and police in Kingstown, Mike had to work hard to earn respect and prove himself. Since then, Mike has proven to be a formidable force whose logic and wisdom has been a positive contribution to Kingstown. But, Mike is still a relatively fresh face in the community, and his authority is constantly being questioned and challenged on all sides. With that in mind, Mike has had to fight hard throughout his tenure as the mayor. There have been major gang wars, high-ranking members of gangs have been killed, and the warden of Anchor Bay has changed several times. Mike lost everything thanks to his role. Obviously, Mike took on the role of mayor after his brother was killed, but since then, Mike has also lost his mother in a shootout set up by Milo, to a stray bullet from his younger brother Kyle. And in the grief of this loss, Mike had to cover up the truth to protect his brother. Since then, Mike has been getting his hands dirty more and more frequently, killing people like Milo and being forced to push back against friends and allies like Bunny and Robert. And Season 4 kicks off with Mike now losing his brother Kyle to prison after he shot Robert to save an innocent father. If seeing his police officer brother sent to prison, where he is guaranteed to endure some cruel and unusual punishment or even face death, Mike also has yet to learn that Iris is now dead, but it's only a matter of time until the mayor gets the news, and when he does, it is likely to break him. Mike started out with very little when the show kicked off, but he has the skills and experience required to be a power broker in his community and try to keep people safe. But with all of this falling apart, and the people closest to him suffering and dying at every turn, it may be too much for Mike to handle. If the mayor can't keep the balance in Kingstown, it would spell disaster. Mike appears to work best under pressure, and he has managed to pull off some incredible things to restore balance in his community. However, no sooner is one issue resolved than a new threat appears. And in Season 4, there is plenty to contend with, from a new gang to the new warden. Meanwhile, Mike is struggling to ensure his brother survives prison, stop Robert Sawyer from doing something drastic while he is benched from active duty, and avoid another all-out war with a new gang breaking out on the streets of Kingstown. All of this while relationships with people like the assistant DA are at an all-time low. Mike needs to get his house in order, but it appears as though there are situations waiting to explode on every corner. Mayor of Kingstown Season 4 is sure to be packed with intense moments as the competing parties come into conflict, but whether Mike has the resources and capacity to deal with it all remains to be seen. If everything falls apart, this could also lead to Mike becoming the darkest and most intense version of himself. In Season 3, Mike heavily hinted at what he became while he was in prison in order to survive. Now it seems as though the situation outside of prison could compete with how challenging things were while Mike was inside.